Hello future doctors, welcome back to the channel Biopulse. This is Chandrika. Today is the day 13th of the chapter we are discussing is Principles of Inheritance and Variation. This is gonna be a damn amazing chapter discussion. Have you ever wondered why you look like your parents? And why some traits skip generations while other appear suddenly? So, welcome to one of the most fascinating chapter in the biology, that is Principles of Inheritance and Variation. In this chapter, we dive into the world of genes, traits and heredity, the very rule that decides how characteristics are passed from one generation to the next generation. From Mendel's classic pea plant experiment to understanding dominant and then recessive traits, everything starts making sense here. If you are preparing for the NEET, this chapter is a game changer for you because it's not just a theory, it's full of scoring concepts and then logic based questions and easy tricks to master genetics quickly. So, get ready to decode the language of the genes, learn smart shortcuts and boost your confidence for NEET 2026. Let's begin this exciting journey into the inheritance where biology meets the logic. So here comes the first question of today's discussion, that is from the Mendel's law of inheritance. Number 1. Genetics is the subject that deals with inheritance, B. variation of characteristics, C. reproduction, and then D. both A and B. And here the right option is both A and B. Here the shortcut to remember the laws of inheritance: law of dominance, segregation and independent assortment. Law of dominance deals with one allele shows effect. Segregation, alleles separate during the gamete formation, and then independent assortment, triads assort independently only if unlinked. So just keep it in mind: dominance, segregation and independent assortment. Second question, the basis of heredity is variation, inheritance, mutation and linkage. Here the right option is option B. Humans knew from as early as 8000 to 1000 BC that one of the causes of variation was hidden in A. sexual reproduction, B. asexual reproduction, C. vegetative propagation, and then D. none of this. Here the right option is A. sexual reproduction. Next question. Choose the incorrect statement from the following. A. Humans knew from very early that sexual reproduction is one of the causes of variation. B. They exploited the variations to obtain plants and animals of desirable characters through selective breeding. C. Sahiwal cows were obtained through artificial selection and then domestication from ancestral wild cows. And then D. Our ancestors were very well aware about the scientific basis of inheritance of the characters and variation. So here the incorrect statement is the D. D is the incorrect statement. And then next question is, that is fifth question. Here comes the fifth one. Which one of the following is period for Mendel's hybridization experiment? Mendel's hybridization experiment 1840 to 1850, 1857 to 1869, 1870 to 1877, 1856 to 1863. So here the right option is option D, 1856 to 1863. Mendel, often called the father of genetics, conducting his famous hybridization experiment on the garden pea plant. He used the Pisum sativum, whatever we call common name as a pea, in the period for the period of 7 years he worked for that, and especially from the year 1856 to 1863. So the next question is question number 6. Who proposed the law of inheritance in the living organism? Here, obviously, you know the answer: Mendel, Morgan, D. Rees, and then Corrins. Here, the right option is option A, Mendel, George Mendel. Next question. Here comes the 7th one. Match the following type question, column 1 with column 2. Here, the genetics is a branch of biology. You know that. If you know any of the two, you can get the answer easily. A is 3 means A is 3C. Only one combination is there, A is with 3. So here the right option is option C, like this. Do smart work as much as possible. 8th one. Mendel investigated characters in the garden pea plant that were manifested as 2. Here, A, link trait, B, opposing traits, C, similar traits, and then D, none of this. Here the right option is option B, opposing traits. Usually what happens, the father of genetics, Mendel, chose the garden pea for his experiment because it had several distinct characters that occurred in two opposing or contrasting forms, we can say, like seed shape, round versus wrinkled, seed color, yellow versus green, flower color, violet versus white, pod shape, full and then constricted, so and so, like twice. So this is the answer B. And then now the next question is, that is the 9th one. How many pairs of contrasting characters in pea plants were studied by Mendel in his experiment? So here option A is 6, B is 8, C is 7, and then D is 4. So here the right option is option C, 7. What are the 7 characters? I can say seed shape, seed color, flower color, pod shape, pod color, flower position, and then stem height. 10th question. Which contrasting trait was not studied by the Mendel during his experiment? First one, seed color, B, leaf color, C, flower color, D, stem height. So here the right option is leaf color. 11th one. Among the following, which one is not a dominating trait? Which one is not a dominating trait? Option A, axial position of the flower, B, green color of the pod, C, violet color of the flower, and then D, green color of the seed. Here the right option is option D, green color of the seed. Next one, question number 12. A true breeding line is one that, option A, has undergone continuous self-pollination, and then B, shows stable trait inheritance, C, shows expression of trait for several generations, and then D, all of this. Here the right option is option D, all of this. Next question. Match the column 1 with column 2 and choose the correct option from the codes, column 1 and then column 2. Here if you know any two at least, you will get answer very quickly. For example, if I know axial flower, it's a dominant trait. A is 3. A is 3 means here we are getting the first option. And terminal flower, for the cross check I will go with the next option also. For the terminal flower, terminal flower is a recessive trait. So B is fourth. So here the right option is option A itself. Next question. Question number 14. Refer the given figure A to D showing traits of pea plant studied by Mendel. Among these, choose the dominant trait. A is B, B is A, C is D, and then D is C. This is A, this is B, and then this is C. This one is D. This one A is wrinkled seed, B is violet flower, and then C is constricted pod, and then D is dwarf plant. Among them, which one is dominant? Means the violet flower is dominant. This one is the recessive, and this one is also recessive, and this one is also recessive. So right option is option A, which is actually a B. 15th one. Which technique was used by Mendel during his experiment on pea plants? A. Artificial pollination, B. Cross pollination, C. Self pollination, and then D. All of this. Here the right option is D. All of this. Next question, that is question number 16. Choose the correct statement from the following. Here the first one. During Mendel's investigation, statistical analysis and then mathematical logic were applied to the problems in biology. Yes, of course it is true. And second one, Mendel investigated characters in the garden pea plant that were manifested as a two opposing trait. Of course this is also right. Third one, Mendel conducted artificial pollination experiment using several true breeding pea lines. Yes, this one is also true. And then last one, fourth one, Mendel selected 8 true breeding pea plant varieties as pairs. So here which one is false? Means correct statement he is asking. 1, 2 and 3 are correct. 1, 2, 3 and correct. So that here the correct option is C. And then why not the fourth one is? Means Mendel selected 14 true breeding pea plant varieties, which corresponds to 7 pairs of contrasting characteristics, not the 8 one. Okay? Yes. Next question, that is question number 17. The contrasting traits selected by Mendel's was or were A. Smooth or wrinkled seed, B. Yellow or green seed, C. Smooth or inflated pods, D. All of the above. So here the right option is all of the above. Next question, question number 18. Assertion and reason. Mendel conducted hybridization experiment on garden pea plant. This is the assertion, and then reason. He proposed law of inheritance in living organism. So here both assertion and reasons are true, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. So the right option is option A. Next, 19th question. Again assertion and reason type of question. Mendel used contrasting traits for his studies, and then reason. He used osmum plant for his experiment. Here assertion is true but reason is false. So the right option is option C. 20th question. Next question, 20th one. Assertion and reason. Mendel used true breeding pea lines for his experiment. Reason. A true breeding line is one that has undergone continuous self-pollination. So here both are true, and then reason is correct explanation of assertion. That's what the right option is option A. Next, inheritance of one gene, that is the first law of Mendel, law of inheritance of one gene. 21st question. The first hybrid generation of Mendel's experiment is known as. The first hybrid generation of Mendel experiment is known as filial one progeny, B F1 generation, C father generation, D both A and B. Here the right option is option D. Next question number 21. Keep in mind the ratio for the first law of inheritance is genotype ratio is 1:2:1, phenotype ratio is 3:1. 22. When Mendel crossed true breeding tall and then dwarf plant in F1 generation, all tall plants were obtained. One self crossing in the F2 generation, he obtained option A 1/4 dwarf and then 3/4 tall plant, B 3/4 dwarf and then 1/4 tall plant, C 2/4 dwarf and then 2/4 tall plants, and then all dwarf plants. Here the right option is option A. This experiment describes a monohybrid cross, a cross focusing on one trait and plant height. 23. During the study of inheritance of one character in F2 generation, Mendel obtained phenotype in phenotype. Already just now I said about the phenotype. Yes, here 2:1, 3:1, 1:2:1, 1:1:1:1. So here the right option is B 3:1 ratio. Next one, 24th. The factors of Mendel are today known as option A genome, B gene, C DNA, and then D alleles. So here the right option is option B gene. George Mendel, often called the father of genetics, of course, performed the experiments on the pea plant in the year 1860s for up to about 7 years. You know about that. He noticed that certain traits were passed from parents to offspring through a discrete units which he called them as a factor, but nowadays we know them as a gene. In the year 1909, the Danish botanist Wilhelm Johansen coined the term gene to replace the Mendel's factor. Okay, this is about the history. Next, 25th one. The slightly different form of the same genes are called as genome, DNA, and then C is allele, and then D is cistron. Here the right option is option C allele. Allele is one of the two or more version of the DNA sequence, you can say, at a specific genomic location. For example, if I say a gene for eye color may have different alleles that results in blue, brown, or else green eyes. Okay, that's what allele is said to be. 26th, alleles are option A true breeding homozygotes, B different molecular forms of a gene, C heterozygotes, and then D different phenotype. So here the right option is option B. Next, 27. What would be the phenotype of a plant that had a genotype capital T small t? Here capital T represents the trait while the small t represents the dwarf one. So here option A is tall, option B intermediate height, option C dwarf, and then option D none of these. So here phenotype of the plant that had a genotype capital T into small t. Okay, that shows what? Tallness. What happens in genetics, a phenotype is a physical expression, whatever it is, whatever the plant is showing its expression, or else the observable trait of the organism we can say, while the genotype is the genetic makeup, the pair of alleles we can see. So here the capital letter T represents the dominant allele and then lowercase small t represents the recessive. That's what we are taking the phenotype of the plant. If the capital T is dominant over small t, the produced progeny will be tall. 28th one. In homozygous condition, a particular gene has option A, a different allele on homologous chromosome, and then B, no alleles on homologous chromosome, and then C, same alleles on homologous chromosome, and then D, none of this. So here the right option is option C, same alleles on homologous chromosome. Next question, 29. Tall and dwarf are the two alleles of genes in height. The dominant trait is, just now I explained about that, isn't it? So I think you people can answer for this one. Which one is dominant? Of course, obviously the tall one is dominant. Then the 30th one, again the match the following kind of question. Here match column 1 with column 2. Column 1, column 2. Genes. Genes are the unit of what? Inheritance. So A is 4. A is 4. First option itself. For the cross checks I will go with alleles also. Alleles are the slight different forms of the same genes. So the right option is option A. 31st one. A cross that is performed for the study of a single character is a cross that is performed for the study of single character is A, dihybrid, B, test cross, C, monohybrid cross, and then D is back cross. Here the right option is option C, monohybrid cross. What is actually monohybrid cross? A genetic cross between two individuals where only one specific trait or a character is studied. If I say about the dihybrid cross, here a cross that takes the inheritance of two different characters. Okay, for example, if I say about seed shape and then seed color, that will be dihybrid. The cross between seed shape and then seed color. If I say plant height or else a seed color, then it is monohybrid. What is test cross then? It's a cross used to determine an organism's genotype by breeding it with a homologous recessive individual. Okay. Next, what is back cross? A cross between an offspring and one of its parents, an individual genetically identical to the parents. So next question. The given figure is diagrammatic representation of monohybrid cross. In the figure, some plants are mentioned as A and then B. What will be the genotype of these plants? Here A is given as a dwarf. Dwarf will be always small t and then small t. B is given as a tall, but it is for F1 gen. So here the right option will be option A. 33th question. Choose the incorrect statement about Mendel's monohybrid cross. Choose the incorrect statement about Mendel's monohybrid cross. Option A. Recessive parent's trait is expressed without any bleeding in F2 gen. And then B. The allele of parents pair segregate from each other and both alleles are transmitted to a gamete. C. The segregation of the alleles is a random process. And then D, there is a 50% chance of gametes containing either alleles. So here A is correct, C is correct, and then D is correct, and then B1 is wrong. 34th one, the production of gametes by the parents, the formation of zygote, the F1 and F2 plant can be understood by using A. Venn diagram, B. Pie diagram, C. a pyramid diagram, and then D. Punnett square. Here the right option is option D, Punnett square. 35. Select the correct statement. Option A. Franklin Stahl coined the term linkage. Punnett square was developed by the British scientist, and spliceosome take part in translation, and then the transduction was discovered by Altman. Here the correct option is the option B. Punnett square was developed by the British scientist. What is the name? Reginald C. Punnett in the year 1905. Actually, Franklin Stahl coined the term linkage is given, no? The linkage term was given by T.H. Morgan, that is this Thomas Hunt Morgan. Okay, now, and then spliceosome takes place in translation is given, no? Spliceosome or else a spliceosome takes part in a splicing, which is a part of transcription, not the translation. And then D, transduction was discovered by Altman, he is given, but it's not true actually. Transduction or else the process of transduction, it was given or else discovered by Zinder and Lederberg. Okay, it was discovered by Zinder and Lederberg, not by Altman. So that's 36th one. In the test cross, organisms whose genotype is to be determined is crossed with the option A, recessive parent, option B, dominant parent, option C, both parents one by one, and then D, none of this. Here the right option is option A, recessive parent. A text cross or else test cross is a fundamental genetic tool used to determine the unknown genotype of an individual that displays a dominant phenotype. So here A is correct. Next, 37. On crossing two tall plants in F1 gen, few dwarf offsprings were obtained. What would be the genotype of the both parent? What would be the genotype of the both parent? Here the right option is option B, capital T small t and then capital T small t. 38th one. Based on his observation of monohybrid cross, Mendel proposed which law of inheritance? Based on what observation he made on a monohybrid cross experiment, Mendel proposed two fundamental laws of inheritance actually, that is A, law of dominance, and then B, law of segregation. So here the right option is option D, both A and B. Next one, that is question number 39. According to Mendel, characters are controlled by discrete units called A, genes, B, factors, C, alleles, D, allelomorph. Here the right option is option B, factors. Next one, choose the incorrect statement about law of dominance. Incorrect statement he is asking, so focused you must be. A. Option A. It is used to explain uh, the expression of only one of the parental characters in the monohybrid cross in F1 gen. This one is correct. B. It doesn't explain the expression of both parental characters in F2 generation. This statement is false because the law of dominance does help to explain why both parents' characters reappear in the F2 generation, while the law of segregation explains how the alleles separate. The law of dominance explains why the recessive trait has hidden in F1 and why it is only reappears in F2 gen when the dominant factor is absent. So this one is the wrong. So here the right option is B, which one is incorrect statement. 41. Again the column match the column type question, column 1 with column 2. Here the column 1 is given and then column 2 is given. First law of inheritance. What is first law of inheritance? Law of dominance. A is 3. The next cross check. Second law of dominance is law of segregation. Dominance, segregation and independent assortment, isn't it? Third law. So if I know these two, A is pairing with what? 3 and then B is pairing with 1. So here the right option is option A. 42. The second law of inheritance, that is law of segregation, is based on the fact that A. Alleles do not show any bleeding. B. Both the characters are received as much in the F2 gen. C. One allele dominates the other allele. D. Both A and B. So here the right option is D, both A and B. 43. The factor controlling any character is discrete, the independent. It was concluded on the basis of option A, results of F3 gen of a cross. B, observation of cross made between the plants having two contrasting traits where offspring shows only one trait without any blending. C, self-pollination of F1 offspring. D, cross-pollination of the parental generation. So here the right option is option B. Next question number 44. In Anderinum, that is the snapdragon, a red flower was crossed with a white flower, and in F1 gen pink flowers were obtained. When pink flowers were self, the F2 generation showed white, red and then pink flowers. Choose the incorrect statement. Incorrect statement he is asking. Here the first one is A. The experiment doesn't follow the principles of dominance. This one is correct. B. Pink color in F1 is due to the incomplete dominance. This is correct. And then C. Ratio of F2 is 1/4 red, 2/4 pink and then 1/4 is white. That is the 1:2:1 ratio. And this one is also right, but the last one, law of segregation, doesn't apply in this experiment. The law of segregation always applies, so this is the incorrect one. Next, 45th question. It was being observed that sometimes the F1 shows a phenotype that doesn't resembles either of the two parents and remains in between the two. It can be explained by law of dominance. B, law of segregation. C. Law of incomplete dominance, and then D. None of this. Here the answer is law of incomplete dominance. 46th question. The genotypic ratio obtained in incomplete dominance is, the genotypic ratio he is asking. The genotypic ratio is 3:1, 1:1:2, 2:1:1, and then D 1:2:1. Here the right option is option D. 47. In case of codominance, the F1 progeny A resembles either of the two parents, B is in between of parents, C resembles both the parents, D none of this. Here the right option is option C. 48. A person of AB blood group has IA and IB genes. It is an example of option A pleiotropy, B segregation, C codominance, and then D none of this. So here the right option is option C codominance. What actually it is means, it's a genetic scenario where two different alleles of for a gene are both fully expressed, okay, and in the phenotype of the heterozygous individual neither allele masks the other one. So here the right option is option C. 49th question. In a marriage between male with blood group A and female with blood group B, the progeny had either blood group AB or a B. What would be the possible genotype of the parent? A IAI male, IBI female, B IAI male, IBIB female, C IAIA male, IBIB female, D IAIA male, IBI female. Here the right option is option B. That is 50th question. A person has O blood group. His mother has A while his mother has A while father has B blood group. What would be the genotype of mother and then father? Option A, mother is homozygous. Mother is homozygous for A blood group, and then father is heterozygous for the B blood group. B, mother is heterozygous for A and then father is homozygous for B. C, both mother and father are homozygous blood group of respectively. D, both mother and then father are heterozygous. So here the right option is option D. Both mother and then father are heterozygous for A and then B blood group respectively. Next question, 51. Which of the following characteristic represents inheritance of blood group in humans? Inheritance of blood groups in humans. 1. Dominance. 2. Codominance. 3. Multiple alleles. 4th, incomplete dominance, and then 5th, polygenetic inheritance. So here the right option is option B, 1, 2 and then 3. 1, 2 and then 3. Inheritance of ABO blood group in the human is a classic example used in the genetics to demonstrate several key principles of the inheritance. Next, 52. A man with blood group A marries a woman with blood group B. What are all possible blood group of their offsprings? Option A, B and AB only? B. A, B, AB and O? C. O only. D. A and B only. So here the right option is option B. A, B, AB and O. Next one, 53rd question. The genotype of a husband has a wife are capital IA, IB and capital IAI. Among the blood type of their children, how many different genotypes and then phenotypes are possible? A. 3 genotypes and 4 phenotypes. B. 4 genotypes and 3 phenotypes. C. 4 genotypes and 4 phenotypes. And then D. 3 genotypes and 3 phenotypes. Here the right option is option B. 54. Multiple alleles are present. Alleles are present. A. At different loci or else loci on the same chromosome, or B. At the same locus of the chromosome. C. On the sister chromosomes or else chromatids. D. On different chromosomes. So here the right option is option B. 55. Column 1 with column 2 match the column 1 with column 2. Here again dominance. If I know dominance, what actually the definition means. Dominance, appearance of violet color, because violet is a dominant color. Appearance of violet color in F1 generation in garden P. If A is for 4, so here the right option. For cross checks I will go with codominance also. Best example for codominance is ABO blood group. So here the right option is option A. 56. ABA blood group is a good example of, just now I said, isn't it? It's a good example of multiple alleles. Next, 57. Sometimes a single gene product may produce more than one effect. This phenomenon is known as monocytism, pleiotrophy, C. multiple allelism, and then D. polygen. Here the right option is option B, pleiotrophy. And the next question, that is 58. Starch synthesis in pea seed is an example of A. multiple allelism, B. incomplete dominance, C. codominance, D. pleiotrophy. Here the right option is option D, pleiotrophy. 59. Pea seeds having B, capital B and then small b genotype produce starch grains of large size, small, intermediate. They do not produce starch. Here the right option is C. 60th question. Choose the incorrect statement from the following about pleiotrophy. In pleiotrophy, a single gene produces more than one effect, or starch synthesis in pea seed is controlled by one gene, or C. Pea seeds having BB genotype produce small starch grains, and then small b homozygotes of pea produce wrinkled seeds. Here the right option is option C. 61. Assertion and reason type. The law of dominance is used to explain the expression of only one of the parental characters in a monohybrid cross. And then reason, it also explains the proportion of 3:1 obtained at the F2 gen. So here The right option is option B. Both assertion and reasons are true, but reason is not correct explanation of assertion. Next 62. Again one more assertion and reason type of question. Here comes. Assertion is the pink flower of dog plant show incomplete dominance. And then reason, in pink flower both alleles are expressed equally. So here assertion is true but reason is false. Option C. Next one, assertion and reason. A person having IA-IB genotype has AB blood group. And reason, IA and IB alleles are codominant. Here assertion and reason both are true, so the right option will be A. Next one, from the inheritance of two genes. 64th question. Crosses that are performed to study two contrasting characters at a time are called two contrasting characters. He mentioned there. So here you can go with dihybrid cross. What is the phenotypic ratio? Phenotypic ratio. Option A 1:2:1:2. Option B 3:2:2:1, and then option C 9:3:3:1, and then option D 2:3:1:2. Here the right option is 9:3:3:1. Next 66. The third law of inheritance proposed by Mendel is A. Law of dominance, B. Law of independent assortment, and then C. Law of incomplete dominance, and then D. Law of segregation. Here the right option is law of independent assortment. 67. The ratio 9:3:3:1 of hybrid cross denotes that it is a multigenic inheritance. Next, B. A allele of two genes are interacted with each other. And then C. It is a case of multiple allelism. D. The alleles of two genes are segregated independently. So here the right option is option D. 28. The number of phenotypes and genotypes in F2 gen of a Mendelian hybrid cross are, here phenotype 4, genotype 9. Option D. Next question 69. Mendel's law of independent assortment is true for genes situated on same chromosome, non-homologous chromosome, homologous chromosome, extranuclear genetic element. Here the right option is option C, homologous chromosome. Next question, question number 70. Genes A and B are linked. The F1 heterozygote of a hybrid cross involving these genes is crossed with homologous recessive parental type, small a, small b, small b. What would be the ratio of offsprings in the next gen? In the next gen he is asking. So here the right option will be option A, 1:1 it must be. Next 71. Mendel's work remained unrecognized for many years. Find out the true reason for the for this, why actually Mendel work is unrecognized for many years. Okay, here first one, Mendel's concept of gene was not accepted by his contemporaries as an explanation for the continuous variations seen in the nature. Yeah, of course it is true. Second one, the approach of using mathematics was new and unacceptable by the other biologists. This one is also true. Third one, he could not provide any physical proof for the existence of the factors. This is also correct. And then fourth one, the communication was not easy in those days and his work could not be widely published. So all of them are correct. 72. Mendel's results on inheritance of characters were discovered by De Vries, Correns, von Tiskermack, and then all of this. So here the option D is right. 73. Among the following, who noticed that the behavior of chromosome was parallel to the behavior of genes? 73th question, and then here the right options are Walter Sutton, Theodore Boveri, and von Schleiermacher, and then D, both A and B. Here the right option is option D, both A and B. In the year 1902, Walter Sutton and then Theodore Boveri independently noted that the behavior of chromosomes were parallel to the behavior of the genes. 74th one, referred the given figure showing meiosis and germ cell formation in the cell. Which law of Mendel can be effectively explained by this figure? Law of dominance, law of segregation, law of independent assortment, and all of this. Here the right option is all of this. 75. The chromosomal theory of inheritance was proposed by Sutton, Boveri, Morgan, both A and B. Here the right option is both A and B. 75. Match the column 1 with column 2 and 2. Choose the right option. Here again same dialogue. If you know any one, you can get the right option. Mendel is for law of independent assortment, whereas Correns, Tiskermack, and Reis are for rediscovery of Mendel's law. So A is 3, B is 1. Again answer 1. Morgan performed his experiments on garden pea, Drosophila, snapdragon. None of this. Here the right option is option B, Drosophila. Next, 78. When two genes are located on the same chromosome, the proportion of parental gene combination is lighter than non-parental, lower than non-parental, C equals to non-parental, and then D, none of this. Here the right option is option A. 79. Genes which are present on the same chromosome A do not form any linkage group. B affects the phenotype by forming interactive group. C form a linkage group. D form different groups independent upon their relative distance. So here the right option is option C. 80th one. The term used to describe the generation of non-parental gene combination is linkage, recombination, mutation, and none of this. Here the right option is B. It's called as recombination. 81. Which type of relationship is found between the distance of genes and percentage of recombination? A. Inverse, B. Parallel, C. Direct, C. D. None of this. Here the right option is C. 82. Among the following, which will not cause variations among siblings? A. Linkage, independent assortment, crossing over, D. Mutation. Here option is A. Linkage is correct. 83. Again match the following type of question. Column 1 with column 2. Here linkage is for what? Physical assertion of genes. So A is 4. If I say A is 4, I have only one option, that is C. So option C will be right. 84th. What map unit centimorgan is adopted in the construction of genetic maps? A unit distance between two expressed genes representing 10% crossover. Here the right option is C. A unit distance between the genes on chromosome representing only 1% crossover, not the 100 or else not the 10 or else not the 50. 85. The concept of genetic map was given by Assortment. The concept of genetic map was given by Assortment. Option C. 86. Assertion and reason. Mendel proposed the law of independent assortment on the basis of results of dihybrid cross. So here this assertion is true, and then reason. When two pairs of traits are combined in a hybrid, segregation of one pair of character is independent of the other one. This is also true. So option A is correct. Make this as option A. 87th one. Assertion and reason. The chromosomal theory of inheritance was proposed by T.H. Morgan. Is given it was proposed by T.H. Morgan. And then assertion. Morgan worked on garden pea plants to give his theory. So here what happens? Both assertion and reasons are false. Both are false. 88. Again one more assertion and reason type. Morgan coined the term linkage to describe the physical association of genes on a chromosome, right? This one is right. But reason, linkage shows more one parental type combination of the genes. This one is false. So the right option is option C. Next comes from just sex determination. 89. X body was discovered by Mendel, Morgan, Henkin and De Vries. Here the right option is option C, Henkin. 90th one. In XO type of sex determination, who does possess the X chromosome? Who does who does possess the X chromosome? Female, male, sometimes female and sometimes male, none of these. Here the right option is C. 91. X chromosome is degenerated as autosome, sex chromosome, somatic chromosome, none of this. Here the right option is option B, sex chromosome. 92. Which type of sex determination is found in grasshopper? B. XX and XO. 93. In a specific taxon of insects, some possess 17 chromosomes while others have 18. These 17 and 18 chromosome bearing offsprings are all male, all female, female and males respectively. D. Males and then females respectively. So here the right option is option D. 94. In Drosophila, males possess XO chromosome, XX, XY and YY. Here the right option is C, Y, XY. Next, 95. Match the column 1 with column 2. Here is the column 1 which is given X body, XY chromosome and all. So here if I know X body, it was the X body term was given by Henking. So A is 2, B XY chromosome is for allosomes. So here the right option is option A. 96. XY type of sex determination is found in Drosophila, humans, grasshoppers, both A and B. Here the right option is D, both A and B. 97. Choose the incorrect statement about XY type of sex determination. Right option is C. 98. Male heterogamety is found in. 98. Option A, grasshopper, B, Drosophila, C, humans, and then D, all of this. Heterogamety is found in all of this. 99. In female heterogamety, females, one type of gametes, two types of gametes, three types of gametes, and then none of this. So here the right option is option B, two types of gametes. Next, 100th one. Capital Z divided by capital Z small w type of sex determination is the characteristic feature of option A, platypus, B, snails, C, peacock, and then D, cockroach. Here the right option is option C, peacock. These are the 100 questions for today's discussion. One of the largest and then very logical chapter I can say here. So, alright students, with this we come to the end of principles of inheritance. Today we didn't just study genetics, we actually understood how traits travel from one gen to next one, just like a biological story written inside every cell, isn't it? From the Mendel's law to tricky inheritance pattern, remember one thing, NEET doesn't test memory, it tests clarity, isn't it? So revise the concepts, practice MCQs, and most importantly, visualize every cross like a story, not a formula. Okay, if you found this session helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, because we are on a mission to complete biology in the smartest way as much as possible. And in the next video we will dive into even more scoring concept. So stay tuned and stay constant and keep learning till the end. Stay curious, stay focused and keep growing. Bye bye.